Good morning, students. In continuation to our chapter 1 revision to Python, we'll be starting our section 2, and today we'll be taking up tokens. We all know that tokens are the smallest individual building blocks of a program. In Python, when we make a program, we need to use tokens. Without tokens, we cannot make a program. So we have 5 types of tokens here. We know that keywords, identifiers, literals, operators, and punctuators, also known as delimiters. Now first one is keywords. Keywords are basically the reserved words which the compiler or the interpreter has special meaning. And we find in Python that there are number of words which are used as special words. For example, for, while, if, do, not, and, is, and so on. So number of keywords we have already used, and we'll be using more keywords in our programs to come. Second is identifiers. Identifiers were the variable names, the names we give to variables to make a program, to make a function, to define a class. We use different names, so they are called identifiers. These identifiers can start with a letter, that is capital A to capital Z, or small a to small z, or they can also start with an underscore. There are some rules which we should keep in mind while declaring an identifier. For example, Python does not allow special characters. Special characters are not allowed. Identifier must not contain a keyword. Python is a case sensitive programming language like many other languages, C, C++, Java. So we have to keep this in mind. The capital letters and small letters are treated differently. So some valid identifiers are given here. For example, my book, file 123, z2td. These all are valid identifiers. We can make a variable like this. Whereas some invalid identifiers are to, r, no, because the variable name is starting with digit, which is not possible. Break is a keyword, so cannot be used as an identifier. My.book. Now here dot is a special symbol, so cannot be used to name an identifier. Now some additional naming convention. There are some more conventions, rules which can also be kept in mind while defining or declaring an identifier. For example, class names start with an uppercase letter. If when we'll be learning class, we'll come to know. All other identifiers start with the lowercase letters. Starting an identifier with a single leading underscore indicate that the identifier is private. Starting an identifier with 2 leading underscores indicate a strong private identifier. If the identifier also ends with 2 trailing underscores, the identifier is a language defined special name. So this all will be using in our next chapters where we'll be defining classes. So we'll come to know about them in more detail. Literals. Literals in Python can be defined as a number, a text, or other data that represents values to be stored in variables. For example, literals are like I have taken a variable name where the name is Johnny, or first name may be Johnny. So examples of integer literals are age. Suppose I have taken a variable age is equal to 22. So this is called an integer variable. If we are storing a value in single quote, it is called a string literal, or maybe double quotes. And if we are storing a variable height is equal to 6.2, which is a fractional number, so it can be also known as a float literals. Example of special literal is when we have one more special data type or literal which is called none. So name is equal to none means name variable is containing nothing. So none is also one of the literals. Now escape sequence. Escape sequence means when we make a character graphic to non-graphic or non-graphic to graphic. So we prefix a backslash in front of that symbol. That is called escape sequence. For example, here in backslash we are using one more backslash, so this backslash will be visible when we print. Similarly, single quote or double quotes which are not visible on the screen, so they can be shown on the screen in the program by prefixing a backslash. So this process of prefixing a backslash in front of a character or alphabet to make it graphic to non-graphic and vice versa is called escape sequence. Operators. Operators can be defined as symbols that we use to perform some actions or operations on the given values, also known as operands. So we have different types of operators in programming. We use number of operators to make our programs. For example, arithmetic operators, relational operators, assignment operators, logical operators, bitwise operators, membership operators, and identity operators. First one is arithmetic operators. Now arithmetic operators are the operators which is used to perform mathematical functions like addition, subtraction, multiplication and so on. So these are called arithmetic operators. Here a chart is shown to you where the operators are there, and description of the operator is also given along with their example. For example, plus is used for addition of two variables or two values. Similarly, minus is used for subtraction of two numbers, and slash is used to perform division here, and so on. Here one is double slash. Double slash is also known as floor division, where it removes digits after the decimal point. And suppose the answer is 6.2, it will give you the answer as 6 only. So this is called floor division. And sometimes we have to find the power, say 2 raised to power 3. So for that we can use double star, double asterisk, which is also known as exponent operator, and can be used as suppose 2 into 3. So it will give you 2 raised to power 3. Relational operators. Second operator is relational operators. These are the symbols which are used to perform relations between two values, two conditions. For example, double equal to is used to compare two values. Suppose A is equal to B, will compare the values. Not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, or less than equal to are the symbols to check the relation between two given values. Assignment operator. Now these are the variable symbols which are used to assign the values. For example, single equal to is used to assign the value. A is equal to B means the value of B will be assigned to A. Remember, always the values are assigned from right to left. Then we have shorthand notations: plus equal to, divide equal to, minus equal to, into equal to, and so on. These are also known as assignment operators or shorthand notations, where A plus equal to B means A is equal to A plus B. Similarly, A is equal to A minus B can also be written as A minus equal to B, and so on. The fourth one is logical operators. Logical operators are those symbols which are used to perform some logical operations between two values or two variables. For example, here we have three logical operators: and, or, not, where not has the higher precedence than and the last one is or. Now here x and y means if both the conditions are true, then and operator will return true value. Or means if both the conditions are true or any one of the condition is true, then the answer, the output of the expression will be true, otherwise the output will be false. And not is also known as reverse. It reverses the condition, and if we write not A greater than B, so if the condition is true, A greater than B, then it will return you not, means it will make true as a false. An example is also given here. A is equal to 30, suppose B is equal to 20. So if A is equal to compare to 30 and B compared to 20, if the condition is true, it will print hello. So output will be hello here, because A is always is 30, given 30 here, and B is given as 20. So both the conditions are true, and is used between the two conditions. So though the conditions are true, the overall output of the condition will be true. So the output will be print hello. Sixth, of membership operator. This membership operator in Python is used to validate whether a value is found within a sequence such as strings, list or tuples. In and not in are the two operators which are known as membership operator, which check whether the value exists in the given list or given tuple or not. Example is also shown you here. This example you can try in Python. You can write this code and you can execute this code. You will find the output, because here the A is given a value 22 and list is having number of values, and we are checking whether the A is existing in the list or not. So is in operator is used to check if the value is there in the list, the answer will be true, and if the value is not in the list, the answer will be false. Identity operators. Now we have two identity operators here to compare the memory location of two objects, is and is not. Is returns true if two variable point the same object, else false. And whereas is not returns true if two variable points the different objects, else false. Here again the example is given to you. A is equal to 34, B is equal to 34. Both the variables are having same values. Now if I write if A is B, to print both A and B has same identity. The output will be both A and B has same identity because both are having the same value. And if I change the value of B to 99 and then I check if A is B, now A is 34 and B is 99. So if I check this condition, the output will be false. So we'll go to the else portion and the output will be A and B has different identity. It is also shown you, the memory address map is also shown to you here, that if two variables are storing the same value, India, so it means we can say that these two strings, string 1 and string 2 are equal. So if we compare them using equal to operator or if we compare them using is operator, so both the answers, both the output for both the conditions will be true. Punctuators or delimiters. These are the symbols which we use in a program to punctuate the program, to make the program meaningful so that it should be grammatically and syntactically correct. For example, comma, semicolon, curly braces. These all are various symbols which we use in our programs to make it meaningful. Barebone of a Python program. That is the basic structure of a Python program which we have already studied in class 11. This is just an example to make a revision of the thing. We know that when we make a program, we can write comment in a program if required. Second is, we can when we write a program, we have to write in indentation. It should be properly indented within a block. It should be, if it is outside a block, then it will be considered outside the block. So we have to be very careful whether we want to keep anything in the block or outside the block. A Python program contains the following components: expression, statement, comments, function, block and indentations. So a Python program can have any of these parts or all of these things in the program. Now expression, statement, as I said, a program can contain an expression because without an expression we cannot make a program. We need to do some calculation, we need to apply some formulas. So expressions are required. Statements are required because without statement the program itself is known as a set of statements. So statements are always there. Comments, if required, if you want to put remarks in the program, you can use comments. It can be a single line comment, it can be a multi-line comment. Function is used to make program much faster. We have inbuilt functions. We are using many functions which are already there in Python libraries, and we can make our own functions also, which is known as user defined function, which we'll be doing very soon. And block and indentation, this is very important. This is key part of the Python program. When we make a program, it should be properly blocked. We have to use them within proper blocks and within proper indentations, because there are no curly braces, where there are no brackets. We have to keep the program properly indented, otherwise the code will go wrong. Variables. Now variables, as the name suggests, identifiers. The variables are the name given to a memory location which is used to store some values, and this can be any name. It can be any single alphabet, say A, B, C, D. It can be a name, sum, average, minimum, maximum. Any name which you want to keep to the values in your program, you call it a variable. And we can also use multiple assignment. When we assign a value to a variable, it automatically Python considers the data type of the variable. If we are storing a number in it, it will take it as integer. If we are storing a fractional number in it, it will consider the variable data type as float. If we store a string in a variable, the data type of the variable will automatically become string. And then second is multiple assignment. We can store more than one value, same value in more than one variable together at one go. Say for example, A is equal to B is equal to C is equal to 1, as shown here. You can see. Second is A comma B is equal to 1 comma 2. Means A will have the value 1 and B will have the value 2. Or vice versa. We can also swap the values of AB as BA. So it is possible to have multiple assignments in Python. Now scope of a variable. Scope means a variable, a function, anything which we have declared or defined in a program has a scope which is called a local variable or a global scope. Local scope means anything within a particular block or a function is called local variable. Means those things can be used only within that block or function. And if we define something outside all the blocks, say here we have taken x is equal to 8 outside the block, so it is called a global variable. So anything which is declared within a block is called local variable, and anything which is declared outside the block is called global variable. Dynamic typing. Data type of a variable depend or change upon the value assigned to a variable on each or next statement. For example, if we have taken x is equal to 25, now x is an integer type, and we have taken another, say x is equal to Python. Now here Python is a string because it is enclosing double quotes or single quotes, so it is called a string. Now programmer should be aware that not to write like this. So if you write like this, it will be an error. For example, if you have written y is equal to x upon 5, it will give you an error because now here x is initialized as Python, a string value, and string value cannot be divided with an integer, so it will raise an error. Input and output. This already we have done in 11th class. We have made number of programs. We know that without print function we cannot display anything. We have to, if we have to display anything on the screen, we have to display any message or any value, we have to use the print function. Similarly, when we have to read some values from the user in the program, we have to use the input function. So these two functions, input and print, are very important function in Python to input the values in the program as well as to display the output in the program. So this is the end of your session 2 of chapter 1 of Python class 11th. If you have any doubt, any queries, you can send me your queries in WhatsApp, and then I'll be replying your queries. I'll be giving your answers of your queries, and then I'll see you in the next session 3 of chapter 1. Thank you.